I've just finished playing Resident Evil 4 again on the PlayStation 2 after I found it down the back of the sofa, and forgot just how excellent the game was. Coming in at around 14 hours on its first playthrough, the controls may have been a bit sticky, but this did add to the sense of panic when a shambling local tried to stab me in the balls with a pitchfork. Resident Evil 6 is now with us, and it takes what was hinted at with number 5 and runs with it, being a full-blown co-op shooter with your now standard third-person control mechanic and cover system, with not one but 4 campaigns to play through. You'll play as Leon, Chris, Jake and Ada Wong along with their cohorts as you experience their side of the same events. That event is the C-Virus outbreak and all the gooey goings-on associated with it. There's certainly a lot of action in here, and it's definitely the biggest game, coming in at between 30 and 40 hours. The problem is that it loses its identity as a Resident Evil game in most places, and starts off with the bar raised so high there's little place for it to go in terms of action. Leon's campaign is the most traditional, as you start off in an eerie abandoned mansion, but most of the time you feel like you're just watching an interactive cutscene as you walk a few yards, do a quick time event and repeat. Controls are supposed to offer you more freedom, but even these can be tricky to handle as you have to press multiple buttons to take cover or roll out of the way, or process herbs into pills to put into your case before you can eventually take one to heal yourself. Thankfully, your AI partner doesn't need to be micromanaged so much this time and can actually be rather helpful when it comes to helping you up or taking enemies out around you. Chris's campaign, on the other hand, is just a mess. It feels like a substandard squad-based shooter, and although the graphics and voice acting are of a good standard throughout all campaigns, I fail to care about any of the characters. There's just not the same sense of fear when you feel part of a bigger war and not something you've just stumbled across and need to get away from. Jake's story is probably the most interesting in terms of characters, as he appears to be immune to the C-Virus, but his campaign suffers from even lengthier quick-time events and larger set pieces where again, you feel like you're never the one really in control. Resident Evil 6 may have a good cast of characters from previous games and offer a lot of bang for your buck, but do be warned, it doesn't feel very Resident Evil-y, if there is in fact such a word. If you really want some new Resident Evil action, then I highly recommend Revelations on the 3DS, or indeed the HD version of Resident Evil 4. Honestly, go back and play it, it's a blast. I'm very disappointed with Resident Evil 6. It will keep you averagely amused for a fair while, but just doesn't cut it for me. It gets 6 out of 10. You've been watching a review from Games Weasel. If you want to get the show each week, which includes video game reviews, news, previews, competitions and special features, then head over to GamesWeasel.com for our video podcast, Games Weasel TV.
GamesWeasel.com